We can get started. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. Feel free to put in the chat which city or country you're joining us from. It will be really great to see the community that we have gathered here today to talk about AI and all things AI. My name is Asil Philip, and I'm the account executive at Clever LMS. Clever LMS is a learning management system provider to help centralize and streamline all training and communication in the organization in a system. So today I am happy to welcome you all at our live webinar. And this time I am happy to be joined by two brilliant ladies that will help me explore the topic of AI and how AI is transforming training, and particularly in corporate soft skills training. So do I see any? There you go, Joburg, South Africa. That's wonderful. Anybody from Cape Town? Loved that city when I had a chance to visit, so would love to see anyone from Cape Town and see how the weather's doing there. I know that you're moving into spring, so things are warming up there in that part of the world. All right, let's get started. So we before we get started, obviously we kickstart things off. I'd like to briefly make the introductions of my colleagues today. We are partnering with Play Avatar, and by two representatives of Play Avatar today here joining me at the webinar, and that's Head of Business Development Anne Kantian. And thank you so much for joining and coming. We're so looking forward to learning more about Play Avatar and role plays with AI Avatar. And joining us today is also Elizabeth Solavyova, who is the prompt engineer. So Elizabeth will provide us with all of the tips and tricks and all of the best practices of how prompting engineering works specific to AI role play. And she'll share all of her knowledge and expertise, on how to build the best and effective role play. So I'm very excited on what Elizabeth has to show the audience today. So feel free to put in your questions, your comments in the chat so that we, go as we go through the presentation or towards the end during the Q&A session, we can address them. So we are living in the AI revolution. We are living in it. And I think we are beyond the discussion of to be or not to be an AI user, right? The focus has shifted into more, how can we best make use of AI? How can we, the focus has shifted into the ethics of using AI, the responsible way of using AI. And in that regard, how can we make use of AI so that, we can increase efficiency without undermining, the authenticity, originality? How can we scale with the help of AI, but without sacrificing the quality? And those are the discussions that are actually taking place, in terms of AI in our world and in our lives, in our daily lives. AI is definitely transforming learning and development, and there's a lot of conversation. There's a lot of, let's say, ambiguous, approach to this, and not everybody agrees that it's a good thing or a bad thing, but we definitely know it's here to stay. And one of the ways AI is actually, being introduced in L&D, and I think it's because as the world is changing around us, we're also changing the way we learn, the way we create content and deliver content, right? And what we're doing is that we're also evaluating a lot of the traditional learning and e-learning. How is that different, and how AI can actually help make it more effective? Because at the end of the end goal of any training is actually creating learning that creates impact, reinforces behavior change, that mind shift, that translate into skills that can be applied to job. And here, in my view, this is where AI is actually really making a huge difference is as we look at traditional e-learning, the content that we create nowadays is rather static. It's linear, and most of the times when end up relying on professional instructional designers that use heavy-duty tools, software to create that content. In most organizations, the ID teams are very lean, so that it also creates a lot of bottleneck and backlog in terms of creating content. The content that we create currently is not immersive. It's not as engaging as we would like it to be, regardless of the interactions that we introduce. So that's also creating that low engagement, low training impact, not creating the outcomes that we are, aiming for. Training is, as well as content creation and training as such, is not as scalable to the extent where it's not having the right effect that we're aiming for. And one of the other things that is it does lack feedback, right? Coaching and mentorship is there, but again, it's not scalable when we talk about dispersed workforce and et cetera, et cetera. So those are the things that are actually we are now understanding more about, how we're doing training now, even with the e-learning tools and different systems that we have. How can we make changes? How can we improve? And how can AI play that role? And so here, to me, AI role plays or role plays that are based on AI with the avatars that are really creating this very much of a personalized experience. They are dynamic, they're very hands-on. And what I really like about this, these kinds of scenario-based role plays is that they are very, realistic and they create this practice, practice makes perfect. So you're actually learning by practicing. And we know that multiple studies have shown that, when we learn through interactive simulations, we are twice as more likely to apply those skills on the job. And that's what we're aiming for at the end of the day. What really also stands out for me in AI role play, and I'm excited for you to see it and experience it today during our webinar, is getting that personalized constructive feedback on where the gaps are, where I could improve, and what exactly I could do to improve. That's to me is priceless, something that we don't get in traditional e-learning. And obviously, as any instructional designer, if you're in the L&D department, if you are part of the team that creates content, this is something that's this AI-powered tool is something that's accessible not only to professional instructional designers, but also subject matter experts that also extends the capacity of content creation and also learning and development within the organization. So with this, brief introduction, I would just like to start a brief poll, just to kind of see, what AI tools you're currently using, if any. Feel free to here. I think it should appear in the chat now. All right. So are you Sybil? Yes, I see that you've raised your hand. Do you want to put your question in the chat box? If there was by accident, okay, okay, that was a typo. No problem, no problem. But yeah, feel free to, let us know, are you personally using any AI tools, any AI systems, or maybe you as an organization have already started to use it in a very more of a strategic and systematic way. So I think that would be really interesting to know. Obviously, in the poll, it's more of a yes or no question, but in the chat, you're more than welcome to put any name of the AI tools that currently, whether that's ChatGPT or Perplexity or any other, maybe Microsoft Copilot. It's up to you. So I'm just going to give it a couple more seconds for everybody to respond. Not yet, but considering. Interesting. All right. What surprised me is that this summer when I was visiting my parents, my almost 70-year-old dad was actually using ChatGPT, what really shocked me. But it was really interesting to see. Okay, so I'm gonna end the poll for now, and let's share the results and see. So yeah, we have quite a bit of the respondents actually actively using, I'm assuming, So that's really good. So I think we definitely have, a population of in the audience that's very much interested in all things AI. All right. So, with that said, I would like to give the floor over to Anne so that she can share more about Play Avatar, what the tool is about, what are the use cases, and basically just tell us more about what Play Avatar is and, how it's actually bringing value, creating value for the L&D world. Go ahead, Anne.
Thank you, Asil, and thank you for the introduction. I would say nowadays, with the rise of AI, I think most organizations realize that nowadays it's two essential skills that organizations mainly need to succeed. One of them is how to use AI. So we need to train employees on how to use AI because this is what drives the competitive advantage nowadays. And overall, just soft skills are becoming more and more essential because most of the hard or technical skills can kind of be learned or replicated by AI anyway. So most organizations really understand that we need to focus more on soft skills because in the future, the human connection and communication will become even more essential. But to do that, we also need to learn how to use AI. So what we did at Play Avatar, we kind of combined two of the most essential skills. So we allowed people to replicate human communication and give them the opportunity to practice having difficult conversations with the AI. So, when you're practicing with AI instead of a real person, it provides you a safe space. It doesn't cost you anything if you make any mistakes, but it also provides you with a lot of valuable feedback so you can actually improve. And dare I say, unbiased feedback, because sometimes when you are playing with a real person, it's either hard to recreate the real scenario with a real human, or it's very hard to get a very unbiased feedback on how you're actually doing. So this is what we created, Play Avatar. I think most people don't realize that there's a lot of different use cases that you can use this for. So think about leadership development training, for example, when you are having a one-on-one feedback with your employee, for example, when you are addressing performance concerns, when you are discussing promotions or raises, or maybe even hiring and firing people, which is a very difficult conversation to have, especially for a first-time leader doing it for the first time. It's not like you can really practice on your colleagues. You kind of need to have this interaction before you actually fire someone. So those are some of the interesting use cases, but you can also use this for sales training. So having a conversation with a customer, negotiating deals, negotiating price changes. You can use it for customer service skills, for example. Let's say someone wants to return an item and you need to provide exceptional customer service to them or deal with exceptionally difficult customers, because we definitely had unpleasant interactions with people before, sometimes unreasonable requests, and you still need to help the customer in a respectful way. Those are also some things that you can practice with AI. And then some things like onboarding, you can really incorporate it into almost any part of your learning process, even mentoring or coaching. You can ask AI to be a coach to you, so it can teach you how to have the conversation first, and then you can also practice having the conversation with the AI. So these are some of the use cases.
Armand, thank you so much for sharing. So it is essentially your corporate soft skills development tool, if you could look at it that way, right? And soft skills we used to traditionally train in a classroom-based environment with an instructor led. So this gives us an additional opportunity to scale that training and actually build, as you said, a safe environment for people to practice their people skills. And just about any component of our job that involves interacting with people, and that usually means pretty much all the time. That means, this tool can actually bring a lot of value. If I may ask, what industries are your clients from? Where do you see Play Avatar bringing the most or creating the most value?
Yeah, we have a very wide range of industries using Play Avatar. For example, we have a very big international retailer that uses us mostly for customer service skills, for promoting their loyalty program, for example, for dealing with difficult customers. But we also have a lot of organizations that use this for leadership development skills. We have a lot of healthcare organizations as well when they train, or like pharmacy companies as well, where they train the representatives to um, present, introduce new pharma products to the doctors, or provide patient care, for example. We also have interesting use cases with vet clinics, for example, where they really teach how to speak to the dog owner, for example, who is going through an accident. So those are some very interesting or sometimes unexpected use cases that you can have. We even have law firms using this product,
Mm,
initiating the conversations with their customers or practicing before going to the judge, basically.
yeah.
So those are
I can
very,
see how that can be helpful.
yes, yes, very unexpected. But when you think about it, it makes sense. All of those interactions really require a lot of soft skills development.
Yeah, yeah. When I did the testing myself with a couple of scenarios, I found one particularly challenging where I actually felt the emotions, the heartbeat, going a little bit faster when interacting with the client. An avatar was the hard client that was demanding full refund, and I could see how, that could be a real case situation, and teaching somebody that while you're dealing with a customer, it's something that's very difficult. But recreating it in a scenario like this was absolutely, so realistic. I definitely felt the situation. So that'll be interestingly, who are creating these role plays? Would you say it's more of still instructional designers, the professional, with the professional expertise and knowledge, or people who are like, for instance, subject matter experts, just based on your experience?
I think most of the time it is still the instructional designers, just because they know best how to create role plays because they have been already doing this in person, or creating this role plays with a human-to-human interaction.
Hmm.
So they kind of understand how it works. But also the tool itself is very easy to use.
Hmm.
So we definitely have some subject matter experts using this platform and just uploading all the information that they already have in their
Hmm.
heads to recreate very realistic role play scenarios. But I also want to add that we sometimes even have just the CEOs of the companies using this tool, for example, to practice their investment pitch or practice a board meeting, for example, or doing a coaching session. So the use cases are quite vast and different.
Yeah, such a versatile tool. Look at this. Very interesting about CEOs using the tool. Something very unexpected. Um, that just the capabilities of the tool are obviously very versatile, and I can see how you've shared that, that you can use it from frontline workforce to just about leadership, training. So we're talking anywhere from retail, floor employees to leadership trainings and et cetera, et cetera. So it's really, I mean, their use cases are so diverse. Where would you not recommend Play Avatar to use? Like, would you, if you could make recommendations then? Excuse me.
Yeah, I would say AI or Play Avatar in general are not very useful for hard skills.
Hmm.
And by hard skills, I mean if you are changing wires in a machine, for example, or if you need to know how to operate heavy machinery like in a plant, that's not something that we can recreate because, first of all, it requires a lot of hands-on technical knowledge,
Right.
and most of the time it's done on site. So cases like very technical hard skills would not be very useful to recreate in Play Avatar.
Right. So how to operate a forklift machine or that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, we're not really okay. That makes sense, obviously. All right. Well, without further ado, I know you're all waiting for the action to kick in. I'm going to thank you, Anne, so much for sharing all of that. I would like to give the floor over to Elizabeth, our prompting engineer. Elizabeth is the magician here. She is the person, that talks to AI like they're best buddies. So, and I've seen Elizabeth at work, and it's just amazing the stuff. So she'll be sharing all of that into, her expertise with us today. Elizabeth, come on in, and if you can get started. So
Sure.
show us what AI Play Avatar can do.
Yeah, so, and thank you very much for introduction. Right, so my name is Elizabeth. I'm a prompt engineer and also a prompt system designer at Play Avatar. And before we dive into role plays exactly, let's just quickly remember what generally a prompt is. And it's basically an instruction that you give to the AI. So it's the way that we tell it what we want to create. And you know that when you insert an input into the AI, the more details you give to the AI, the more detailed the response, the more customized the response will be. And it's the same with the role play scenarios. So the more precisely you describe the situation, problems, participants, and your goals, the more realistic and engaging, of course, the game becomes. And a lot of people think, and it seems quite easy, but there is something that our team faces a lot in real projects. It's the fact that it seems easy, but actually it's not that easy because people often expect AI just to understand everything, just to get everything instantly. And when they work with our system, with our platform, they can prompt like one or two sentences, something like make a role play about feedback or create a dialogue about a difficult client. But here you see we get the general situation, but we don't actually get the details. So it's not enough context for the AI to grasp, like to understand what exactly you want from this situation. And sometimes the result ends up vague or not so customized, not so personalized. And that's why today we're here to understand what makes a good and an effective prompt. And I usually say that every effective prompt starts with understanding the problem behind it. What I mean is that sometimes we usually see that there is the difference between what we want to see and what we actually see in the reality, right? So let me give you an example. Imagine that you are the manager of the hotel and you know that there is a problem with negative reviews. And let's also say that you know that there is this situation happening often that a hotel receptionist talks to an angry guest, right? And the guest complains that the room wasn't clean, nothing worked, etc., etc. So now they demand compensation, they threaten to leave a bad review, and even though it's an interesting point, even though they stayed for 3 nights, everything was okay, they said nothing, right? Now they come to you and complain. So you as a manager, you know that your equipment is checked before every check-in, right? And everything works fine. That's why here you understand that it's actually not the equipment problem itself, but it's the communication problem. And this is what we want to capture in the prompt exactly. How the employees practice staying calm, how they show empathy, and handle complaints professionally, no matter the personal characteristics of the client. Yes, they can be more adequate, less adequate, but we have different customers and we need to train on all of them. So once the problem is clear, I think it's actually really easy for you now to understand the components of the effective prompt, which you can see here. This is context, trainee, AI assistant, so basically it's the customer, right? What's their mood, what's their objections, how they will behave, and so on, and generally the goal, right? And right now I'm going to show you how I would go and how would I create the prompt about the topic that I told you about. So Asil, can you please go to the next slide? Right. So here you can see, I would say something like that. Create a role play where a hotel receptionist talks to a frustrated guest who is angry about the poor quality of their room and the service during their stay. Here I give the context so that the AI understands where it takes place and who the participants will be, and the trainee, of course. After that, I say the avatar and its objections. So the client complains that the room wasn't properly cleaned, the air conditioning didn't work, no one answered their calls at the front desk. And during the conversation, the guest demands compensation and threatens to leave a negative review. We need to have objections because, and if you add more realistic objections, of course, you will get a more realistic role play after that. And finally, the goal is to help employees practice staying calm, showing empathy, and resolving the situation professionally while protecting the hotel's reputation, of course. So now what we're going to do, imagine that I copied this prompt, and now I'm going to share my screen with you and walk you through the process of how I deal with and how I create these role plays.
So, Elizabeth, just to sum it up, the devil is
Sure.
in the details, right? So we need to
Yes.
have as many details and provide as much context as possible for the AI to create that real world, situation scenario. And like you said, understanding the problem. What is the
Yeah.
problem, right? It could be a perception of the problem, and the actual problem could be different. And
Yes.
we need to tell Avatar what exactly we want it to do. We can't just assume that it will know what to do because, we think AI can, but it's a machine, and we have to program it basically. So that's interesting to know. Yeah. Thank you so much. Continue. Please go
Yeah,
on.
it's actually, yeah, your comments are great because they capture all of the important details. Yeah, because a lot of the times we don't think about how other people would behave. But with the AI, you need to think and you need to instruct how it will behave because it's not human, well, at least yet. And that's why we kind of, AI cannot read our minds. It's true. Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Yeah. And so if you are in the hospitality, for instance, and you've already had situations with clients that are similar to this situation, you could basically take that and describe it in detail as much as possible to, for instance, AI avatar, and it would recreate that. So that
Mhm.
there's your ready role play, essentially.
Right, in different situations, you can create not one role play, but 5, 10, 15 different role plays that deal with different objections.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. All right. Would you like to start sharing your screen and and
Yes,
and
I'm
show?
trying to, but
Okay.
yeah, let me, I sent you the,
Yes. So I'm
yeah.
And while Elizabeth is preparing, I just wanted to share that the reason why we are showing you all of this is because learning how to communicate with AI is also one of the essential skills for the future. You can apply this knowledge also just when you're talking to ChatGPT. You probably already noticed, depending on how you write your prompt, you will get drastically different results. So feel free to apply this knowledge elsewhere as well.
That's a good point, Anne. Absolutely.
Right. Now I think I'm sharing my screen and you should see that, but I think I have a problem with sound. So we will check it later. If you don't hear the avatar when we play, tell me. I will try to fix that. But unfortunately, I couldn't click on this sound button. I don't know why. But here you can see our platform, and this is basically how it looks like. So what you can see, there are two parts. This is the left part where you speak with our platform, you prompt it, you make some adjustments. And there is the right part where you can see the artifact of the roleplay scenario itself. So you can see here the title, the description, the trainee role card, the AI assistant role card. By the way, here, if you don't like, for example, Anna Moore, you can choose James Lee. So you can change it, you can change the picture, the persona, but for now, let's keep Anna Moore. And you can see, of course, evaluation criteria. So the goals, the competencies that we want to measure and develop. So what I usually do with that, here is just the prompt that I showed you before. This is just exactly the same word in word, the role play about customer service in the hotel. So I sent it over to our platform and it took a couple of seconds to generate this artifact. And of course, I need to check what the AI generated. So I checked something and I saw, oh, I forgot to mention that this person actually stayed at the hotel for already 3 nights. And so I asked our platform to add that the guest has already been staying at the hotel for 3 nights. And you can see here that we have like a chat and our platform says, okay, I got you. Here is your updated version. And if you look at the trainees, for example, card or the AI assistant role card, you can see that this information was added to this information into this role play scenario. But also, you can be creative with it. And for example, I asked to add a fictional hotel name to make the scenario sound realistic. And before that, it was just a random hotel receptionist, but now it's a hotel receptionist at the Grand Horizon Hotel. So if you don't want to make any manual changes, you can go with that and you can ask, you don't even need to type anything. You can click this microphone button, say everything out loud, and then just send it. So you don't even need to work with your hands. But if you see that there are some adjustments or changes that you want to do, you can click anywhere because everything is editable. So you can write a lot of things here like blah, blah, blah. So I will delete that. If you don't like the goals, for example, you can take this goal, de-escalate, or no, let's take the first one. Apologize sincerely and demonstrate empathy. If you don't want your hotel receptionist to apologize, you can just delete that, right? And that's all. And add something new. But let's keep that. And also here, for example, you can see the first line must be, hello, this was a really disappointing stay. I didn't expect this kind of service from your hotel. If you don't want your customer to be at least a little bit polite, you can just, let's do hello. She will not even say hello to us in this case. Right, so that's pretty much it. So you can work with the left part, you can work with the right part, it's up to you. And now let's try to take a look at what it does, because I think it's the most interesting, how the AI will behave. And let me go to preview. So I will read this role card. This is my role, right? So I will play this. You are a receptionist at the Grand Horizon Hotel, a mid-range establishment known for its customer service and comfortable accommodations. During your shift, a guest who has been staying at the hotel for 3 nights approaches the front desk visibly upset about their experience. They have waited until checkout to voice their dissatisfaction, citing that their room wasn't cleaned, air conditioning did not work, and the calls to the front desk went unanswered. You are tasked with addressing their concerns, offering solutions, and ensuring the guest leaves with a positive impression of the hotel despite their frustrations. And my goals are to apologize, demonstrate empathy, maintain professionalism, offer appropriate solutions, such as discount or room upgrade for the next stay, and in general, de-escalate the situation. So let's go here. Now you will see Anna. I need to, give me 1 second. I need to turn off my camera in Zoom.
I hope we don't run into any technical hiccups.
I hope so too. Well,
Yes.
let me refresh it one more time. I don't know what's happening here. Now let's try it one more time. Yeah. So I think there was a Zoom problem
Okay.
because it didn't switch off the camera. But now please tell me if you can hear Anna, because maybe there's something about her.
This was a really disappointing stay. I didn't expect this kind of service from. I can hear you just fine, but my concern right now is about the
Yeah,
poor
is it
experience
okay?
I've had here.
Yes,
Okay,
I can
sorry.
hear her. Yes.
Then, all right, it's good that you can hear her, but I need to reload this page so that I start the conversation in a nice manner with Anna.
Okay.
And let's go to it one more time. Right, this is the final time.
This was a really disappointing stay. I didn't expect this kind of service from your hotel.
Anna, I'm so sorry to hear that. Tell me what has happened.
Well, for starters, my room wasn't properly cleaned when I arrived, and the air conditioning hasn't worked at all. I've tried calling the front desk multiple times, but no one ever answered. It's frustrating to feel ignored like this.
I'm really sorry to hear that and that you had to experience all these things. Let me check one thing. So I see here in my system that it's your third and final day of the stay. So why didn't you come up to me earlier? Because we would have fixed that right away. And, because we really would like to make sure that your relaxation, your vacation is going great.
I understand that it's my last day, but I didn't feel comfortable coming forward earlier. I had better service throughout my stay, and it's disappointing that it took until now for me to voice my concerns. I really just want to know what you can do to address this situation.
Sure, I do understand that. And we're going to take a look into that. Of course, all of the air conditioning will be checked. I completely understand you, and I'm sorry that you feel frustrated. But yeah, unfortunately, there is nothing that I can do because it's your final day of the stay, and you have used all of these nights. However, of course, we are willing to help you, and we can give you a discount or a room upgrade for your next stay.
I appreciate you offering a discount or room upgrade for my next stay, but I'm really frustrated that you can't address the issues I experienced this time. I just feel undervalued and ignored as a guest. Can't you do anything more to make up for this disappointing experience?
I'm sorry once again, but also, of course, don't think that we will let it go. Simply, of course, everything will be checked, and I can even send you a notification where after technician checks everything. We are really interested in you being our customer and coming to us later and getting your discount.
While I appreciate that you're willing to check on the issues and send a notification, it still doesn't change the fact that I feel let down during my stay. I want to know that my concerns are taken seriously now, not just for a future visit. I really need to feel valued today, not just promise something for later.
Sure, I do understand you. And yeah, your concerns are heard. I really appreciate that you came up to me, and I'm really sorry, and I wish you came to me earlier to fix all of the issues beforehand. I'm really sorry, and I'm going to wait for you until next visit.
I appreciate your willingness to listen and acknowledge my concerns. It would mean a lot to me if you could follow up on these issues with the management and ensure that future guests don't face the same problems. I hope my feedback leads to some real changes because I would like to consider staying here again if things improve.
Sure. And thank you very much for voicing your concerns, and I'm going to notify you right away. So thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you for your understanding. I hope to see some improvements in the future. Have a good day.
And let's click finish. So this was our Anna. I think sometimes we meet clients like that when they just really need to be heard, and they don't actually need that, that you fix and you run and do everything. They just need, to complain a little bit, but then make sure that everything is heard and everything is done. So here you can see the report. This is what I get. Of course, I'm not a customer service expert. That's why for me, 71% is enough. But here you can see the report and overall performance, and you can see my key strengths that I maintained a calm demeanor. It is true. I used, yeah, thank you. And I used, but now you cannot see me, I think. All right, let me speak without camera for now. I will turn it on later. I use polite language, but of course I have some areas for improvement. I need to enhance empathetic communication, right? Maybe my validation wasn't great. It's true, I'm not an expert here, but yeah, I agree with that. Focus on providing immediate solutions. Yeah, it's true. I told her that we would look into that, but nothing immediately was solved. It's true. Strengthen efforts to de-escalate, emphasize the hotel's commitment, and ensure proactive engagement to resolve issues promptly, right? So in general, this is what you get, but of course you can see the detailed information on the script and what more you can do. And here you can see suggested improvements on how you can revise your phrases to sound better, right? So this revision enhances empathetic communication, avoids any unintended implications of blame. Because when I started, I said something like, white, not white. Why didn't you come up to me earlier? And it sounds a little bit harsh, right? So this is something that can be changed. And I could have said, I truly wish you had felt comfortable bringing these concerns to my attention earlier, right? So no putting blame here. And you can also see bonus tips. Let's take a look at the next one. Offer immediate and tangible solutions, yeah, to address the guest's current concerns. This is what I didn't do, just promised everything for the future. And in general, this is how you work with this and what result you can see and what report from the employees you get from our platform.
Elizabeth, this is really, really impressive. I just love the feedback. To me, that's really, absolutely priceless to be able to see where exactly, you could improve, right? Where your skills are actually the lacking that, especially in areas or in industries like hospitality, where customer service and excellence is your differentiator. Right there, people come to you because of the service, and this is something that's that can make a huge difference in how you train your frontline employees. To be able to, and it doesn't only give you, it gives you the script, and it analyzes each of your words word by word, and gives you the recommendations. This was a tough client, right?
It's
She
sure,
kept
yeah.
insisting that you address and provide an immediate solution, not promise something in the future. So that was very neat. I thought it was
Right,
pretty
it's true,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can be very imaginative with that. If you know that you have difficult clients, of course this is not even the most difficult client that we have
Hmm.
faced. Of course, there are way more difficult and more aggressive clients, so you can play with that. But
Right.
right now, I think we want to share also one more thing that will be maybe less difficult. Maybe for someone it will be just as difficult. But we wanted to share also that you don't even need to, adjust the game. You can just write the prompt and go play. So
So
shall
do
we
something
move
very
on?
simple, something
Mm-hmm.
very easy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. So here's what we can do here. You can see my screen again, right? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
I don't see
Mm-hmm.
your avatars. But right, yeah. So here's what you can do with the platform. Now I'm going to show you in real life how the role play scenarios are generated. So here I have this thing. Oh, let me go here and here. So I just copied and pasted the prompt that I'm going to use. So let's read it together. Create a role play where a manager gives feedback to an employee who has recently started coming late to both internal and client meetings several times a week. The employee usually arrives 10 or 15 minutes late after the scheduled time and blames traffic or last-minute personal errands, even though the rest of the team manages to arrive on time. During the conversation, the employee justifies it by saying that they don't miss anything important and always complete their work on time, and the goal is to help managers practice calm, clear feedback that reinforces discipline and, of course, personal accountability. So this is a management case that we can face quite often when people are late, even though you have spoken about this problem. So this is the same thing, right? You can see here that this prompt follows the previous advice that I told you. Yeah, this is context, trainee, avatar and its objections, and in general, the goal. So now I'm going to send it over and you will see how our platform generates it. So it's not even 1 minute, it's 10, 15 seconds.
I was
right?
just going to say it was so fast. It was
Yeah,
just my
it's
comment.
true.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just took it. Yeah, we would just send it over and now it's done. And you can see it in the dialog window that, yes, I have considered your input and here it is. So this is pretty much it. Now you can just go and play because you can see the same fields that I showed you earlier. This is the title, the trainee role card, the AI assistant. Of course, if you want to change anything, you can do that. If you want to delete any of the evaluation criteria that you don't like, you can do that. And that's all. Yeah, so for example, I will just show you how it's done. If you want to delete that, yeah, you can click here. This is the delete button. But for now, let's just keep it. All right, so now I want another member of my team to go through it. And what do you think?
Elizabeth, I was also going to ask if we could change the character. I see that Anna Moore is still the person.
Ah, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Let's have Mike. So
perfect.
now we will play with Mike.
Let's do
So
it.
let me stop sharing my screen. And I can hand the floor over to Anne.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. So I'm going to be on the spot trying this example. Elizabeth, is the link that you shared with me also with Mike?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Let me share my screen then. Okay. Okay, so this is my role. I am a manager of overseeing a team of professionals in a mid-sized marketing agency. One of my team members has recently developed a habit of arriving late to both internal meetings and client-facing meetings, which started to affect team dynamics and client relationships. While the employee completes their work on time and claims they don't miss anything important during meetings, their tardiness has caused frustration among team members and raised concerns about professionalism. You are tasked with addressing this issue calmly and clearly to ensure the employee understands the importance of punctuality and takes responsibility for their actions. So I need to provide clear and constructive feedback, address the justifications because they do come every time, and set clear expectations for punctuality. Okay, I think I got it. Let's begin.
Hello.
Hi, Mike. I wanted to talk to you about something important.
Sure, what's on your mind?
I noticed that you have been arriving late quite frequently lately. Can you tell me why this is happening?
I've had some traffic issues and personal errands that have come up unexpectedly. I always make sure to complete my work on time, and I don't feel like I've missed anything critical in the meetings.
You say unexpectedly, but this has started to happen quite often, almost every other day.
I understand your concern, but I believe that my overall performance speaks for itself. I consistently deliver high-quality work on time, and I think that's what really matters.
I mean, yeah, you are performing very well, and I have no complaints about your performance per se, but you have to understand this is impacting the team as well.
I get that, but I still think my tardiness isn't a significant issue since I'm contributing effectively. Sometimes external factors are just beyond my control, and I don't want my work to be overshadowed by a few late arrivals.
I mean, I don't want to overshadow your work by the late arrivals, but you have to understand that although you are a more senior employee, some of the younger professionals are seeing this example, and I want to set the precedent that everyone can come late whenever they want. You know, this is unacceptable.
I appreciate your perspective, but I still believe that my ability to meet deadlines and deliver results should take precedence over my punctuality. I don't think my lateness sets a bad example when my work quality remains high.
I have to disagree on that. I do want to reinforce the discipline and make sure team members are also performing just as good as they should.
I understand where you're coming from, but I think there should be some flexibility for unforeseen circumstances. My work has consistently met expectations, and I'd like to focus on that rather than being penalized for occasional lateness.
You know, this is not only impacting the internal team performance, but you're sometimes being late for the client meetings, and this is definitely affecting our company reputation too.
I see your point, but I believe my contributions and the quality of my work outweigh the impact of my late arrivals. I always ensure that I'm fully prepared for meetings, even if I arrive a bit late.
Look, I don't want the clients to think that we don't value their time. And I do understand that you need flexibility and it is important, but let's try to minimize your lateness, at least for the next few months that are very important in terms of client and internal meetings.
I can agree to make an effort to minimize my lateness, but I hope you can understand that sometimes life happens. I'll do my best to be more punctual, but I'd appreciate some understanding if I run into unexpected delays.
Let's try to minimize this.
That sounds fair. I appreciate your understanding, and I'll do my best to improve my punctuality moving forward.
Yes, that's what I'd like to hear. Let's try to minimize this. And I don't want to minimize the effort you put into your work because you definitely are a very valued employee. But let's make sure your lateness doesn't affect everyone else.
Absolutely. I value being part of the team and appreciate your feedback. I'll focus on being more punctual to ensure it doesn't affect the team dynamics.
Okay, thank you.
That was a
So
tough
maybe,
conversation,
yeah.
Anne.
Sometimes short and simple prompts can be even more difficult.
Yeah, those difficult conversations are not easy. I can only feel for the real manager having these conversations on
That's
a
great.
regular basis.
Yeah, I feel like it was very realistic in terms of how defensive he was. I
Mm.
think if it was me being late, I probably would have acted the same way, honestly.
That's an interesting confession made.
Yeah, but I think as a leader, I caved in a little too much.
That's the thing is that when we know as a leader that we should be taking a different approach, right? We need to practice it. We need to be able to stay firm on our ground and be assertive. But it's not always easy.
Yeah, I think for me as a leader, it really helped me to understand where was my weakness.
Mm,
So yeah, I think if I read the report, yeah, I probably will see that as the area for improvement too.
right. Yeah. That was so, yeah, it was very realistic. And I love the way the avatars actually, they're so human-like. They have these little mimics and the body language and etc., right? And the tone, it also resembles very much. It's not robotic to what we typically, tend to assume with the AI and everything, which makes it even more realistic and like you're in a real conversation, in a real situation. That was really fantastic. I loved it. I would have probably acted the same way, Anne. Just because this was, yeah, these conversations are not easy. Yeah. Well,
I
that
like,
was, yeah.
yeah, before we conclude, I just like this bonus tip that was provided to me. It says, when addressing recurring issues, consider providing specific example or data to illustrate the frequency and the impact of their behavior. I think this is very realistic. You need to have data and proof of what you're addressing.
Mm,
So just, I think for me, I've never even thought about specifying the times he was late. So in real situation, I see how this could be very useful.
right, right. You could actually say you were late 5 times in the last 2 weeks, and these are the important client meetings that you missed, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That would have been very much constructive in regards to addressing. I would like to, I think this is really interesting. I want to do one final poll just to understand, just ask the audience what, scenarios are popping up in your mind. And this is just an open-ended question. Really feel free to put in the chat, what cases or scenarios from work, from real life that you would love to put into role play, that would help you really practice your soft skills, your people skills. Actually, somebody in the conference in South Africa told me soft skills are now the power skills, and I can see how these could be the power skills, right? Just having played these two conversations. So yeah, put in the chat. Let us know what other scenarios or cases from work that you would be wanting to recreate in role play, and we would love to get in touch with you and prepare this type of role play, and see how it works out for you. I think that would be interesting to see, how it plays out really and how it functions in for your specific business case. So with that said, I'm just gonna leave it as is. All right. Um, so thank you so much for responding. I think we got responses. I didn't see it in the chat, but we probably responded in the poll, which I appreciate. Now, we do have a couple of things that we would like to share. Now, as I really hope that you enjoyed our webinar, and we really wanted to make this very much focused on hands-on practical tips on how to use Play Avatar for creating these effective role plays and how they actually play out in real life, what real case scenarios that you can use. Just give us a lot of food for thought, right, in terms of how this could be valuable and how this could be beneficial and used in your organization, in your work. If you would like to get access to these role plays that we demonstrated during the webinar, do let us know. You can, contact us by email, or put in the chat your email address. The best way that we can contact you. We will provide you free access to these role plays, by end of Friday. So you can play it out with your colleagues, and just kind of experience the AI avatar yourself. If you are interested in creating your custom role plays that are specific to your business, to your work, then feel free to send us your business cases and scenarios that you would like for us to recreate in the role play, and we can run it with you in the form of a product demonstration or demo, and show you how it works with our prompt engineer. So that's it for today. I really want to thank and deeply, deeply grateful to Anne and Elizabeth for sharing their knowledge, their expertise. I think we were able to share something really interesting, innovative, something that can have absolutely transformative effect on your learning and development and your organizational, soft skills training. So feel free to contact us if you would like a demo or access to a free trial or access to the role plays as we talked about, as we showed during the demonstration. And with that being said, I wish you a wonderful rest of the day and week. Thank you so much for joining us, for carving out the time in your mid-morning to be with us. I hope you really enjoyed it. And do come back for more live webinars with Clever LMS. Thank you. This has been amazing. Thank you, and thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Have a great day.